listeners, and welcome to Cat's Cosmic Atlas, a game about learning about star constellations with a cute little kitty. Let us begin. I don't know much about this game. I know that you can play it pretty casually with one hand. This is where you keep badges. First star. Dictionary. This is the solar system. Oh, we just oh, moon. This is Earth's moon. The moon has a hard, rocky surface covered with dust, rock fragments, and craters. Oh, I'm lagging. Oh, that's not great. There, maybe it won't lag now that I'm in, this mode. What is it called? Windowed mode. Let's go up here. North Sky. Oh, it's so cute. I love the book art. What constellation is that? Oh, you can pet the cat. Oh my goodness, what a good kitty. The Archer. Pos Australis, the brightest star of the constellation. Its name is made up of the Arabic segment Arc and the Latin Southern. One of the 12 zodiacal constellations which depicts a centaur using a bow and arrow. The 8 brightest stars in this constellation are called the Teapot. It bow hooks into the Milky Way, which looks as if it is flowing out of it. Although the Archer in many images holds a taut arc, the constellation arrows appear alone on star map. Although the Archer in many images holds a taut bow, the constellation of arrows appears alone. Oh, what's this? Oh, it takes me up into the sky. Good job for discovering a star constellation. Good job, kitty. The Water Bear. Sadalasud is the brightest star in the constellation and comes from the Arabic and meaning happiest. Ancient Egyptians identified the water bear with the gods of the Nile and believed that this constellation started the annual overflow of the river for crops. Neighboring constellations are the Swordfish and the Sea Goat, one of the oldest known zodiacal constellation. Oh, wait, hold on. There's another star another constellation. The Dolphin. Can I learn more about it? Oh, you can speed up the drawing of it. Okay. The Swan. Let's go down again because I don't know if nope. Okay. There's this. The Scales is a zodiacal one too, right? Oh, it's cute that you play with the little scales. I want to see. Oh, you reach up and touch it. Okay. Oh, there's little paw prints in the sky. That's cute. Jump on the pillow. Wiggle butt. Wiggle butt. Game is adorable. Hello. Oh, it's a danger noodle. What's this one? The Serpent Bear. The Burb. Oh, okay. I have to press a different button to get the things to come up. Hold on, let me go all the way back down. Because I'm missing star contact. Okay, the Scorpion. Neighboring constellations are the Scales and the Archer. Antares is the brightest star of the constellation and can be seen with the naked eye. It glows slightly red, which explains its name, which comes from the Greek phrase, similar to Mars. One of the oldest zodiacal constellations as early as 5,000 years ago, it was spotted by the Sumerians who called it Gertab, which just means scorpion. According to the Greek myths, the scorpion killed the famous hunter Orion in the spectacular duel. Zeus decided to place both of them in the sky so that the opponents were opposite each other. As the constellation Orion rises, the scorpion soon disappears behind them. Oh, I need to get the ones up here. The Dolphin. Neighboring constellations, the Water Bearer and the Swan. According to Greek myths, the dolphins symbolize helpfulness, generosity, as they rescued selflessly suffering. Dolphins were also described as messengers of the gods, messengers of the god of the sea, Poseidon. Rotanev. The brightest star in the constellation is the Rotanev. It is a double star made up of 2 subgiants. Rotanev is the name of the astronomer who smuggled the name name of this star into the sky. His name was Nicholas Venator. He named another star similarly, but after his first name, Suakulo. Small and pale but clear constellation arranged in a dolphin leaping out of the water. Deneb. The neighboring constellations, the Lyre and Delphina. Deneb is the supergiant, the brightest star in the constellation. People imagined it to be located on the swan's tail. It is one of the most distant stars perfectly visible to the naked eye, 2,600 light years away. One of the bright constellations whose stars are arranged in the sign of a cross with the Milky Way. The body and outline of the swan's wings is called the Northern Cross. The swan plays an important part in Greek myths. The constellation in his honor commemorates the birth of Helen. The swan was transformed into Zeus wanting to be with the beautiful Leda. Oh yeah, that's whenever he transformed himself into a swan to get a girl. Is odd, but Zeus was an odd duck, or I guess in this case, an odd swan. Neighboring constellations, Hercules and Swan. Constellation whose stars are arranged in a shape resembling a musical instrument. This constellation represents the lyre of the most famous mythological Greek singer Orpheus, which he received from Apollo. The lyre is a stringed instrument popular in ancient Greece. The one in the sky was supposedly built by the god Hermes from an old turtle shell. Its music enchanted almost all living. One of the major constellations of the northern sky, which commemorates the Greek hero Heracles, son of Zeus. Hercules is the Latin equivalent of his name. Kornephoros, it is the brightest star in the constellation. Name comes from the Greek word meaning man wielding a mace. The Babylonians believed that this constellation represented Gilgamesh, the demigod who defeated the forces of chaos at the beginning of creation. The Phoenicians saw Melkart, the god of the ocean. The Northern Crown. Alphaca, the brightest star in the constellation. Its name means broken ring. According to Greek myths, it was a golden tiara, a wedding gift made by Hephaestus, the god of fire and smith, for the Cretan princess Adriana and the god Dionysus. In fact, however, the constellation may commemorate any of the mythological crowns. Neighboring constellations are the Snake and Hercules. It is a small constellation whose stars are arranged in a characteristic arc, diadem, or crown. I feel like I need to go down first. We're already heading up, so whee. Let's finish the stars down here. I don't want to go too far up and then have to go along. We're learning a lot of Greek mythology with it too, which is my favorite. I love Greek mythology. The sea goat. Ooh, the Capricorn symbol. Neighboring constellations are the Water Bearer and Archer. One of the smallest zodiacal constellations, these pale stars were described by the Sumerians and Chaldeans as a chimera, creature with the head of a goat and a fishtail. Constellation lies in the part of the sky called the sea. As it houses quite a few watery constellations. The brightest star in the constellation is Deneb El-Gedi. Its name comes from the Arabic language and means tail of the goat. As imagined by the Greeks, this constellation represents the Lord, a horned idol who guards shepherds and their— Oh, there are several ways to get to the same place, because we're all the way back up here now. I like how the brightest star in the constellation is like highlighted. It just shines really bright. Okay, I think the little yarn balls are fast travels basically, but we should probably go the long way around. Northern Crown. I like the little butt wiggle animation. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Neighboring constellations are the Hydra, the Crow, Leo. Oh, the Maiden is Virgo, the largest zodiacal constellation, although it can only be seen in its entirety in the very dark sky. But the brightest star, Spica, is clearly visible. Among the most interesting objects in the constellation is the cluster in the Maiden, a huge cluster of galaxies bound together by gravity. On maps, the Maiden is depicted with an ear of wheat or blade of grass. According to the Greek myths, it represents the goddess of fertility, harvest, constellation's brightest star is Spica, and its name means ear in Latin. Spica is the name of an alien character in Pena or Albatross 18, a a golf game that I used to play. Anime golfing online game, which is as nerdy as it sounds. It is now discontinued, but there are unofficial servers. Great Bear. Neighboring constellations, Dragon and Little Bear. The Great Bear is characterized by a long tail made up of the brightest stars, which is a bit surprising since bear tails are usually very. Many people think that this constellation consists of 7 stars, but they are only a part of it. However, they form an easy to find system of the Great Bear, also known as the Big Dipper. 2 bright stars, Dub, and these stars point to the polar star that determines the direction of. It's also known as Ursa Major. Oh, so the Big Dipper is part of this constellation? Oh, go back up. The dragon. That also looks like a dip. Latin Draco. Latin is the brightest star of the constellation. Its name means dragon or snake in Arabic. A constellation that stretches around the Little Bear, the King, and Hercules. Extends all the way over to the Great Bear. And the dragon is the star Thuban, which in ancient Egypt was the polar star pointing. According to Greek myths, the dragon was a mythical beast that Heracles killed during one of his 12 labors. On some maps, the hero can be seen resting his left leg against the head of. I love mythology. Little Bear. Is Little Bear the Little Dipper? Little Dipper. Ursa Minor, neighboring constellation's Great Bear. This constellation is also called the Little Bear. Within it is the pole star or Polaris, which is of great importance in astronavigation. According to Greek myths, the Great and Little Bears are mother and son. Since they cannot wet their furs, they are visible above the horizon at all times. The brightest star in the constellation is Polaris, the polar star, which is located at the tip of the Little Bear's tail. The word Polaris means close to the pole. In the present day, Polaris marks the north direction. This is relaxed. This is just a cute, fun little journey. Oh my. That was loud. Not quite as relaxing. Neighboring constellations, the Seated Queen and Dragon. Constellation is of medium brightness, located at the very edge of the Milky. It abounds in double and variable. According to Greek myths, Cepheus is the king of Ethiopia, husband of Cassiope, and the father of Andromeda. To save the kingdom, he chained his daughter to a rock to sacrifice. Constellation of Oof the King is home to some of the largest black holes. Oof the King. The Winged Horse. Neighboring constellations, the Fish and the Chained Maiden. It is a large and highly visible constellation. Its 4 stars form a distinctive quadrilateral called the Great Square of Pegasus. Enith is the brightest star of the constellation. Its name comes from Arabic and means nose. Pegasus is a winged horse from Greek mythology. Mother was Medusa, who had snakes instead of hair, while his father was the sea god Poseidon. According to the myths, Pegasus was Perseid and also delivered lightning to fishes. Pisces. Eta Piscium. It is the brightest star in the constellation. It shines 316 times brighter than the sun. Ooh, that's a fun fact. Despite being a large zodiacal constellation, it is one of the more difficult. Neighboring constellations are the Winged Horse and the Chained Maiden. According to the Greeks, it represents 2 fish, Aphrodite and her son Eros. For the ancient Egyptians, on the other hand, these stars are the children of the fish that saved the goddess Isis from drowning. Wiggle butt, wiggle butt, wiggle 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 butt. The Chained Maiden. Neighboring constellations are Aries. Ooh, I'm an Aries. And the Seated Queen. This large and distinct constellation was noted by the ancient Greeks. It bears the name of a beautiful princess who barely avoided being devoured by the sea monster. She was rescued from her precipitation by Perseus. The Andromeda Galaxy is one of the furthest places from Earth that can be seen with the naked eye. Andromeda resembles a line of 3 stars above the center. A spot is visible to the naked eye, which is a galaxy. I want to see Aries. That's a triangle. Ah, yes. The Isosceles Triangle. One of the smallest constellations was formed by 3 brightest stars arranged in a triangle. It gets its name from its regular shape. Ancient Greek astronomers thought it to resemble the capital letter delta. In ancient Babylon, the constellation was called the Plough. Neighboring constellations are the Chained Maiden and Aries. There is also a constellation of the southern sky called the Southern Triangle. One of the brighter galaxies is located in the constellation of the Triangle. Seated Queen. Sheeder, also known as Cassiopeia. The brightest star in the constellation is Sheeder. The word comes from Arabic meaning breath. Oh, okay, so it's her boob. That's the boob star. One of the brightest constellations in the sky. It is easy to recognize because it resembles a W. Neighboring constellations are the Chained Maiden and the King. In Greek mythology, Cassiopeia was the queen and wife of kings. She often bragged about her beauty, which is why she is said to be vain. Leo, the lion, also known as Leo. My husband's a Leo, which is funny because he's a fox, which isn't a cat. Neighboring constellations, Hydra and the Maiden. One of the 12 zodiacal constellations clear to observe, in which the stars are arranged in the shape of an animal. It is the source of the Leonids, a swarm of meteors. Regulus is the brightest star in the constellation, which represents the heart of a lion, and was named by Nicholas Copernicus. According to Greek myths, this constellation represents the Nemean lion, which Hercules killed and then made clothes out of its skin. The lion's skin could not be pierced by arrow. Hercules strangled the beast and used his skin as a shield. Lovely. It's a little bit violent. The Hydra. Get up on the Hydra's back, Sora! Neighboring constellations, Cup and the Crow. Alphard is the brightest star of the constellation, illuminating an empty area of the sky. The largest constellation. The name comes from the mythical deadly creature that Hercules fought. Although Hydra had 9 regrowing heads, only one of them, the last one, is visible in the sky. Some of the stars of the Hydra tail have been described as Felis, meaning cat. The constellation of the cat was invented by the 19th century and has disappeared until our time. That noise means that we got an achievement. The Twin, Gemini. Neighboring constellations, the Lesser Dog and the Charioteer. Constellation of the Twins is a distinctive zodiacal constellation in which the 2 brightest stars stand out are Castor and Pollux, and I hate that the only reason that I know this is from fucking Homestuck. It's because of fucking Homestuck. Anyway, a swarm of meteors, the Geminids, can be observed near Castor in December. I am Homestuck trash. Still haven't seen Aries, and I was told there would be an Aries. I want to know more about my symbol. This is Taurus. This is Ginges. This is Bun Bun zodiac sign. Hero and the Hunter, a zodiacal constellation of up to 125 stars. Distinctive star clusters, the Pleiades and the Hyades, are visible to the naked eye in the constellation of Taurus. It has been discovered that there are Jupiter-sized planets in this constellation. According to the Greek myths, it was the disguise of the god Zeus, representing a white bull with golden horn. Meanwhile, the Hyades are the daughters of the Titan Atlas, who carried the world on his shoulder, half-sisters of Pleiades. The Hero constellation, also known as Perseus. Mirfak is the brightest star of the constellation. Its name comes from the Arabic language and means elbow. Constellation named after Perseus, who according to myth saved Andromeda and defeated Medusa, and the sea monster Ketos, which today is the constellation of the whale. Associated with the constellation is a swarm of meteors called the Perseus, which can be observed for several hours each. Oh, the Charioteer and Aries are neighboring constellations, so maybe I'll finally see Aries. The meteor shower occurs between July 23rd and August Aries? Well, yeah, it is. The ram, also known as Aries. Hamal is the brightest star. The word means ram's head. I didn't know that in Arabic. One of the 12 zodiacal constellations. I'll get that word one day. One of these days, I'll fucking get that word. Which has been depicted as a winged golden ram since ancient time. In the 17th century, an additional constellation called the bee, the wasp, or the fly was separated from its several stars, but it has not survived in this form to the present day. Aries Point, where the sun passes this point, astronomical spring begins in the northern hemisphere. Currently, the point of Aries is moving towards the neighboring constellation of Fish. Here's Ketos, the sea monster. Also known as, Cetus, not Ketos. Neighboring constellations, Phoenix, Furnace, and Fish. A vast constellation of about 100 stars, although most of them are not bright. 3 of them form a triangle known as the whale's tail. According to Greek myths, it depicts the sea monster Ketos. Oh, I was right. Wreaking havoc in the kingdom of Ethiopia. Mira is the brightest star in the constellation, but it changes in bright. In addition, it moves very fast, leaving behind a luminous. Mira means miraculous because as a variable star it disappears and appears in the sky every the river. Neighboring constellations are the Hunter and Taurus. The Latin name is Eridanus or Shi'iri. Equatorial sky constellation with 4 distinctive stars. To the naked eye, almost 100 stars can be seen. Baby home! We're talking about constellations. I'm recording. We're playing a game about constellations. Did you know that the Greek myth behind the Leo star is that the lion was slayed by Hercules, and the skin of the lion, which was impervious to arrows, he made it into a shield. No, he choked it. He strangled it with his own bare hands. Welcome home. Yee. I'm almost done. I'm almost out of time. Love you. Equatorial sky constellation with 4 distinctive stars. To the naked eye, almost 100 stars can be seen, which resemble a long ribbon in the sky, hence the association with a river. There are Jupiter-sized planets in this constellation. Okay, I've read that. In the Greek mythology, Eridanus flowed through Hades, the subterranean realm of the dead. For the Romans, the constellation represented the Po River. For others, the Ray, Nile, Tigris, and Euphrates. Alright, one more star, and then we're done, okay? Euphrates, is that the name? Here, I'll go back to it. Euphrates, yeah. I know, it's so cute, isn't it? You can pet the cat. Here, you want to read one?
Betelgeuse,
also known as Betelgeuse.
3 stars aligned in the line form a belt. The brightest of them is perfectly visible to the eye, an example of one of the largest stars in space. These 7 stars form the silhouette of the hunter. 3 are the belt, 2 are the arms, and 2 are the legs. According to the Greeks, they represent Orion, the hunter, who was accompanied upon his hunting trips by the great dog. The Syrians saw in them a giant, and the Egyptians saw the soul of the god Osiris. In addition to stars, the hunter also contained a very bright nebula. Great Nebula is visible to me.
It's a really neat game, isn't it? It's very educational, but also watch while the stars are. You can
He's making muffins.
He's making muffins.
It's adorable.
I know, it's so cute. Game is adorable. Okay, last one. The great dog, known as Canis Major. Sirius, the dog star. It's the brightest star in the constellation and the night sky, which is twice the size of the sun. According to it, the ancient Egyptians set their calendar. The constellation is easily recognized because of Sirius, one of the closest stars. Neighboring constellations are Orion and the Lesser. The hare escapes from under the feet of the hunter Orion, who along with the great dog fights the bull. And while you're reading, he takes a little. Oh, I accidentally clicked. And there's several different modes. You can that was the constellation mode. You can look at solar systems, where you fly around with a little helmet on.
Adorable.
This game is cute. Look at him go. Whee! And it tells you about the planet. You're cute. What am I doing? I'm just playing this game. Anyway, that's been the Cat's Cosmic Atlas. That's all the day. all the time. Fuck. I can't talk. I've been talking this entire time, but I can't talk now. That's been all the time that we have for today. And I will see you guys next time. I am gonna go cuddle my husband. Goodbye.